Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in the Wild podcast. We're so happy you're here, and we hope that you're having a lovely, holy week so far.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast.
So, this week we are going to talk about Easter and about Holy Week and about our Easter traditions, what Easter has historically meant to us, maybe our favorite parts of the Easter story. We're going to tap into our spiritual selves
Yeah,
today.
which is kind of not a rare occurrence for us. I feel like we have always kind of mentioned our faith and whatnot, but this is like our first kind of dedicated episode to religion and spirituality and stuff. So I do feel like we need to give a disclaimer just from the get go. We are not perfect Christians, nor are we the
Yeah.
most knowledgeable Christians. Um, but also I'm excited to do episodes like this because I feel like it's kind of like an accountability thing for me to be like wiser in just actually like the stories of the Bible, like the history of it all and stuff. So I kind of like the thought of doing an episode or two like this because it's gonna like make me wanna study more and like make sure I've got my facts in line in case something were to rise, like recounting a story or something, kind of like we're doing with the Easter story. But I think that's also just the fun part of everyone has a different spiritual relationship and journey, and no one's perfect. That's why it's like it fits everyone. You know, you don't have to be perfect. So that's just a little disclaimer from
Yeah.
the
I think that this will be good for people, whether you're like, would consider yourself like a believer or not, because the Easter story is really just kind of like a great, even if you, again, aren't a believer, like, I think the Bible is like every piece of literature, every movie has some like metaphor to the Bible,
thought.
reference to the Bible. Like, it's just like the classic story, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm just like very fascinated by theology in general. And as we mentioned, we're extremely unknowledgeable, I would say, on this topic. But, we have our own personal relationships with Jesus himself, which gives us some street cred, I think.
Yeah, we do
We
have
can
some
always talk about that.
street cred.
I will say, yeah, some street cred on
What a
Christianity.
wild phrase.
I will say we both talked about how we wanted to do Bible studies more frequently, like devotionals, whatever, this year, like 2026. And we have the seamless Bible study, and I have been really enjoying it. I haven't been doing it like super consistently, but I've done quite a bit of it. And I love it. I love the way it's presented, and
Yeah,
also like it's presented in a very palatable way that
right.
makes it super interesting because you understand what you're looking at.
Yeah, I agree. First of all, I really like the way that she writes. She writes just like kind of like you and I would talk about the story, you know,
Yes.
if we weren't trying to be very proper, I guess, is kind
Mhm.
of the word. But she makes it just very cut and dry, and she doesn't get into a lot of the hairy details, which I think is what I struggle with the most in trying to understand the Bible like as a comprehensive story is I get really caught up in the details. But I enjoy having it as like a guide through reading the Bible, and I mean everyone can look as far as they want to into it. And there's even if you read the same story like 18,000 times, you will always find like new details and stuff in it. So it's
Yeah.
just a very good like basic guide to understanding more.
Mhm.
So I'm really enjoying it too. Actually, right before this episode, I read the Easter story in it.
You did?
So I'm excited. Yeah. I
Which
wanted a little
gospel?
refresher. What?
Which gospel?
No, I read her. I
Oh,
read
out of the
her
Bible
just
study.
her
Okay,
birth.
good. I meant to
And
do that, but I didn't, so.
The one thing I did wanna mention about it is specifically about the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I love that it's the same story recounted by different people.
Mhm.
So, like, you get kind of a different version. I think that that's really beautiful that the writers of the Bible included the same story, but from their perspective, because you are able to see it in so many different, like, lights and stuff. So I really do enjoy that aspect of the Bible, and that's what she was talking about too. She was talking about how John's the recounting of the Easter story in the book of John is her favorite one to read. So yeah, I don't know. If you want to read along with us in the seamless, shout out to my friend Maddie from nursing school. She was the one who gave us the recommendation on that.
Yeah, she's the best. Maddie and the author of our Bible study. Um, I will say, well, we'll go ahead and say that we won't be doing a wildest moment of the week this week because we're batching episodes this week or next week, but we will be back in 3 weeks with the wildest moment of
Yes,
the week. I think it's been really fun.
I do too.
But before we dive into our Easter discussion, Mally does have a life update, and I might as well. I'll think about it while she's talking.
Yeah, so I've actually had a very big week. I officially gained a new title this week, and I am an aunt now. So my sister-in-law Kinsey and brother-in-law Seth welcomed their new little baby into the world, and we've kind of just been up with their family in Nashville, just soaking in all the newborn cuddles. And oh my gosh, it's seriously like magical.
Aw.
For just like also, it's insane how newborns change so much just like in the first 24 hours of being born. It is insane. Like the baby looks like a whole different baby now. They were
Aw.
perfect when they came out, but it's crazy. So, it's also just so fun because like they were saying that the baby looks like Seth's brother and like has this characteristic of Kinsey or Colin, and it's just really fun. It's always fun to see like two families become one through a child. I don't know,
Yeah.
it was really sweet. Plus this is the first grandchild and everything, and my other sister-in-law Morgan is expecting too, so that was really exciting because now it's just like the anticipation of having both the babies here is
Yeah.
out the roof. So yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it was amazing. We're having
I
withdrawals.
really? You're having baby
Yeah,
withdrawals?
we like stared at pictures on the way home, and now like his family's still up there. We had to come home, but they've been sending pictures all night. And, ugh,
Aw.
we
Is
stopped
Colin
by at the
so excited?
hospital. Oh my gosh, everyone is so excited. We stopped by on our way home because the hospital was like on our way home, and it was just Colin and I visiting, so we got extra cuddle time, and it was, ugh, I'm obsessed,
That's so exciting. That's
and I'm gonna
making
be
me
so
really
bored.
excited for like that phase of life, you know?
While I was standing there, I was like, I know, like, not in this time, but it does make me excited to like have that moment in the future one day. It was just
Yeah.
so sweet.
Well, I'm
And to
glad
just be like in
everything
the newborn bubble where
yeah.
nothing else in the world matters but your
Yes.
perfect little child that you're holding in your arm.
I know. Honestly, I can't wait for that just because like it's a break from everything else,
Yeah,
you know?
although you're literally like poor Kinsey and Seth, they're already just so exhausted. Well, first of all,
Mhm.
Kinsey having to give birth, but it's just so exhausting. But I did get the baby their first little Easter basket because they're gonna be here in time for Easter.
Aw.
Hope that wasn't no, they're I was about to say, I hope I didn't spoil that surprise, but they'll already see it by the time this comes out. But
Who'd you
I got
leave it
'em
with?
I left it on their kitchen counter.
Oh, 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 okay. So
Yeah.
cute.
So, I know. It's also just like holidays will never be the same in a good way. Like
Yeah.
this holiday this year will especially be crazy. There'll be
Yeah, these
2
two babies will be
babies.
the center of attention
Yes,
from like now
and
until forever.
we will be so poor. We
Yeah.
already are. I'm literally Colin's like, "Mal, you've gotta stop buying them things." I'm like, "I can't. I can't stop." They need matching everything.
They
Like, just 2
do.
little babies, like, you have to have matching everything.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Okay. So cute. Well, I haven't really been up to much, and compared to that, I don't really have any life updates, I don't think. I Mally and I are doing our walking challenge as we did last year, and I did walk like 9 miles today. I was really trying for 10, but the sun went down. So maybe I should have been walking faster. But I've really, really been enjoying spring weather.
mhm,
The all of the me and one of my friends went on a walk during like our break in our classes today. Literally, the like smells of spring were just hitting us so hard, and we were both like, "Oh my gosh, this is like
I know.
heaven. This is amazing." So anyway, um, I've really been enjoying that. I've also been in a very, very like sewing, crocheting type of mood. I've been feeling very crafty. So, yeah. That's all that's going on over here,
Big
I think.
life updates.
Yeah. That's honestly, I
Huge,
feel like I say
huge.
that literally once a month. I'm always feeling that way. I
Yeah.
fear. So, anyway, yeah.
Anywho, I think we should just dive right in.
I think we should too. Let's start with Easter as a day. What did you do the Easter bunny when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah. My mom is like that's her love language, is gift giving. So, anytime that girl can give a gift, she's gonna. And our Easter baskets, they were stuffed, I'll just say,
Was
'cause
it
I
from
was
Go ahead.
sorry. When we were out shopping for the baby, um, Colin's sisters were saying, like, we never really had Easter baskets. Were saying they had, like, baskets to go Easter egg hunting, but they never had, like, gifts in their basket, and I was like, "Oh." My mom would, like, go it was like, stocking stuffers 2.0,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that because I'm so vain, but and because we just cannot give a religious holiday the credit to Jesus, that
Yeah, it can't just be about
no.
Jesus.
I always loved Easter baskets, and I'm pretty
Were
sure my
your
mom will still
were
do
your
'em.
gifts from the Easter bunny?
Like, yeah, but,
Did
we
you believe in
always
the Easter bunny?
no, not really.
We didn't either. And we would
Which is
also
so
get
odd.
Easter baskets. But no, like never was the Easter bunny a thing. It was always like from mom.
Yeah,
And um we would get I'm trying to remember like the size of gifts that we would get. I think we like it was usually like when we were little a Webkin, and
yeah,
then chocolates and maybe like some hair
chocolate.
ties, like little stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
That
literally
was
like stocking stuffers, like a gift
yes.
card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of
I
thing.
I love an Easter basket,
I
and I
do
will
too.
continue that tradition on.
Yeah.
Like, I wanna get June an Easter basket. My dog, I want her to have an Easter basket.
As you should. Oh, I did. I forgot to mention, me and my mom went to Mally and Colin's house and spent the night and kept June, I will say.
Yeah, while we were down visiting Colin's family, I hired Laura Grace and her mom to be my dog sitter.
It
How was
was
your
really fun.
experience? Let the crowd know.
It was really great. June is such a sweetie. She was literally being so sweet,
Was
and
she? She's also doped up on drugs right now, so
yeah.
because
Well, she
she
didn't
faked
act
an
I mean, she
injury.
was still, like, normal
Crazy.
amount of, like, energy, you know?
Okay, well, that's
She really
good.
wasn't
Yeah.
crazy, though, no. She, like, chilled out. She kinda did, like, move around through the night, but I was sleeping. I don't really even know,
Well,
so
good. Yeah, June, like, hurt, quote, unquote, her leg and had to be taken to the emergency vet over the weekend. Just so you all know, she's made a complete full recovery. She's fine.
Do you think
I
she was
think she
being
was just
dramatic?
being dramatic.
She
Yes.
needed attention?
Well, I will say, like, the only reason I took her, like, usually I'm not a very worrisome I don't know, about my dogs, I am a very worrisome person. probably because I have PTSD from many dogs. Um, but Friday, she was acting like her tail was hurting her, like, she wouldn't really sit, and she usually sits on command, and then Saturday, when we got home from my mama's surprise 90th birthday party, she wouldn't walk on her right back leg, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
'kay,
no.
I have to take her." And they gave her a shot, literally walked out of that vet perfectly fine. I was
Well,
like, "Oh, you little player."
there you go.
Anywho, sorry,
I
that
do
was off
have
track.
one more before we get too far into Easter, I have one more life update to share.
Oh,
And
okay.
that is that I did something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I sat down with my mom, Ryan, and Rachel, my cousin. Shout out Rachel. She's the best. And we all learned to play mahjong together. And
How
now
was it?
I love it.
Like,
You,
really?
yes, would I lie? No,
I
I'm
didn't know, like,
lying.
sometimes, it's just so hyped up that you might, like, fakely
No,
love
I
it.
knew
Not
I would
fakely,
love
but,
it.
like, not get the hype.
I knew I would love it because I just love games. And like if a game it has that big of a following and it's like a yeah, like I'm gonna like. And I love also that it's like been around for such a long time. It's like inviting in part of a new culture into my life. I'm gonna love all of those aspects of it. But
Yeah,
I played with Mom, Ron, and Rachel. We had so much fun. I still don't think we know every rule because there are a lot of rules, but I think we pretty much figured it out. And then we played with my mom, and Ryan's aunt, and Ryan was there helping to teach. So I am like obsessed. It's all I want to do. I want to play mahjong, sew, crochet, and go on walks. That's it. And um, yeah, I'm just really happy that I'm also like really proud of us for figuring it out because it's an intense game. Like you have a scorecard of like winning hands, and it's very hard to read. Honestly, it's hard to like figure everything out, but we persevered all the way through it, and then we started loving it. So
that is fun.
I want you to learn. I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know if you like are as much of a gamer as I am.
Okay. Put me
What do
to
you
the
think?
test. I
Do you
don't
think
know.
you are?
I used to play canasta, and canasta is an intense game and takes a
Yeah.
long time.
What's the like
I
point of
can't
it?
give you the rundown. I just don't remember. But I know we
Yeah.
ate it up.
Yeah, I think maybe you would like it then.
You'll have
Because it's
when you
not
get really good at it, you can teach me. I will get frustrated if you're trying to teach me and you don't know the rules. It'll just, like, confuse me, and I'll get frustrated.
okay.
Also, I was practicing my road rage so hard today for you while I was driving.
Wait, you were having
People
road rage or you were
I was, and
working
I was trying to
against it?
control it.
Oh, good.
I was trying to overcome.
Someone said that in real life. Someone said to me, one of my friends here was like, Your TikTok about road rage kind of like made me feel bad. Like it made me feel like I shouldn't have road rage." And I was like, "Good,
Yeah, like,
you shouldn't."
no. Like, but then I quickly, like, stopped trying. I was like, "Well, these people are stupid, so."
But they're probably not. My thing is
No,
always like
you
in
are
road
stupid
rage.
if you're weaving in and out of cars, you're the dumbest person on earth. Why do you
Okay,
think that
or
you're invincible from a car wreck?
this is how I get around road rage. I might get mad for a second and then I think, okay, maybe they're giving birth. Maybe they just got a call that their mom has 30 minutes to live and they're making it to the hospital. There's always something that I can come up with, and it very well could be true.
Put your hazard lights on if that's the case.
They're literally in like one of the most high stakes moments of their life. And what you
That's
have
what
to
the
say to them is
hazard lights are invented
put your
for.
hazards on for no. I genuinely I know that I'm being like high and mighty
Screaming.
about this, but it's truly how I feel. Like it is
Well,
in
I
my
mean, all you can
core.
do is speak your truth.
I know, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm sorry I don't like see you guys any differently for having road rage, but I do like think it's a little weird.
Oh,
And that's all I have to say about that. Actually,
well,
I could go on.
can we get back to Easter before I lose my religion?
that's a topic
over road rage.
that's a topic that, like, I could give a TED Talk on. I have so many thoughts about that, but anyway, yeah, we can get back to Easter. Did you have any other Easter traditions?
Well, I don't know if your church does it or if you ever partook in this, but our church does a sunrise service. Do y'all do that?
Mhm. Yes,
So, and you know what? I'll be an honest Christian. It's hard for me to find the motivation to wake up.
and it's
Easter
getting
morning, you're wanting me it starts at 6:45 in the morning.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
We're doing one this year. We haven't for the past few years, but we are this year, and I'm excited to go. I'm sure it'll stink to wake up, but I love to watch the sunrise. Hate to wake up for it, but
no, once I get there and I'm, like, in the service, it's really do you all do yours, like, outside in the cemetery?
yes.
Saying that sounds like a little bit, like,
I know.
cultish or something, like,
Outside in
outside
the
the
sim
cemetery, but, like, getting the sentiment of the whole point of Easter is,
Oh, you know
Christ
what?
rose from the dead.
I've never thought about it being in the cemetery. I always just thought that ours was in the cemetery because we could see the sunrise the best from there. But no, it's probably like
No, he rose
'cause
from the dead.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
you mean
Wait,
the cemetery.
that gives me a whole new outlook on it. I'm gonna be, like, there in my brain this year. I'm excited for that now.
Yeah. Whenever I'm,
Never
like,
known
in
that.
the service, it's really beautiful, and I'm so glad I just, like, feel like I'm there with Mary, like, going to the grave and, like, see I don't know, it's just a really beautiful moment, and, like, being in the stillness of the morning, like, being awake, I don't know, I just really love it, and then after that, we have, like, biscuits and gravy and stuff, a few,
Yeah.
like, breakfast items at our church, and then you go home and you get dressed up to the nines for your Sunday morning service,
Yes. That's
but
the same thing that we do.
yeah, and
Same order of events.
I do wake up a little grumpy, and I probably won't talk much at the sunrise service because I'm not a morning person, but just know my heart is so content.
Your heart's in the right place. Yeah.
It's just not warmed up yet.
Another Easter tradition that I would like to bring up here is the tradition of the Easter dress. And I like love I think I think that it's kind of like a uniquely southern thing to like be looking for your Easter dress all year. I remember when I was young, we I was looking for an Easter dress in January.
You had to be on it's like looking for a prom dress. Well, I need
It
an Easter dress
literally is.
too.
It
And,
literally is.
I'm not like a huge like, families have to be matching every Sunday. Come Easter Sunday, we will all be wearing the same shade. Everyone will be in the same pattern.
Yes, and it's gonna
Like
be pastels,
yes, of course.
obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we will look very nice. Well, I mean, heck, we're waking up at 6 in the morning. We have all morning to
You
get
have
ready.
plenty of time. I know. You know the Miranda Lambert song that's like, "We drove all the way to Dallas just to find an Easter dress." When I
Yeah,
heard that when I was little, I was like, "You know what? Yeah, like that's the
yeah,
vibe." We're
yeah.
I remember going to Nashville when I was young. Me and my mom went and looked for Easter dresses. Literally to
Nashville?
look for Easter dresses. Yes.
Okay,
Duh.
my mom wasn't that dedicated, but it was
Yeah,
still a thing. Like, we
it's like
and even
I
this
didn't
year, like, I'm not gonna be home for Easter, but I'm like, I still need an Easter dress. Like, I've
duh.
gotta wear a dress on Easter.
It's actually kind of crazy that you're not going to
Yeah.
be home for Easter.
I
Like I
know, and I didn't mean to plan it to be this way, and it does kinda make me sad, but I've, like, made it a mission in my mind to still find time to
yeah,
make it feel like Easter.
for
So,
sure. Um I was gonna say something else about Easter dresses. Oh, I hadn't worn a dress that I already owned for Easter. Like I bought a new dress for Easter every year until I think I was like 22 or 23.
oh, yeah, same. I just recently started whenever, things started coming out of my own bank account, that's when I started to be like, "Huh, this Easter dress I wore 4 years ago
I
has never
could
been worn
rewear that.
again. I could
And
whip
that's the
that one
thing
back
too.
out."
That's the thing though. Everybody sees it on Easter and then it's like, well, I have to wait till next year at
Yeah,
least to wear that again.
at least next spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. It's kinda so fun, though.
It is fun. I love it. I love all of like the lore that's built around Like, it
Yeah.
should be a big day. It was the day of Jesus' resurrection, like,
And then the last, like,
dang.
Easter tradition we have, did you all color eggs?
Yes.
Do you still color eggs?
Um, I haven't colored eggs in a while with dye, but last year I think we like painted eggs and maybe did like decoupage? Is that what that's called? Like Mod Podged little napkin
Oh, yeah.
pictures onto eggs, and it was really cute. Some of them we did wooden eggs so that we could like use them to decorate. But
Yeah.
yes, and then we would we would have a huge Easter egg hunt at my mama's house, and then with the eggs that everyone, died, we would usually hit those with golf clubs into the road,
Oh.
and they would explode. It was really fun. That's, like, kind of a unique Easter tradition, I guess.
We used to have, like, a really big Easter lunch with my mom's side, like, her mother, and then she passed away, and after that, the tradition, like, kind of fell off a little bit, but we would, like, cook this huge meal and color eggs and stuff after church on Sunday, but my family's kind of moved and stuff, so that tradition has kind of died off, but I would love to run something back like that one day.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
once
really
me and
fun.
my sister have children, we can
Mhm.
revive that.
I think that our Easter lunch is always really fun because we usually get into, like, the guys plus me and maybe if they can talk a few of the wives into it, play, like, wiffle ball or kickball or,
Yeah,
something
because
like
it's finally
that.
sunny and you can go outside.
Yes, it's so fun. I think we might have played pickleball one year recently in my front yard or my front, like, little patio area. Um, so it's fun. It's very fun family time. It always feels very like the song "That's What I Love About Sundays" by Craig Morgan. That's how Easter always
Yeah.
feels to me. It's really sweet.
Yeah, it's also just, like, such a refreshing like, I can just
Mhm.
imagine me sitting on my parents' front porch on Easter Sunday. It's warm, and the air just feels, like, clean,
Yes.
and I'm
Yes,
happy
absolutely.
for the
I
first
will
time in
say
6 months.
every now and then Easter is cold, and I
Ye
hate that.
yeah.
That's literally no fun.
Other than that, that's all the traditions I can think of.
Okay,
Other
well,
than all those that we just listed off.
I know. I didn't realize I had so many, but apparently I do. I just
Mhm.
thought of a lot of those. But, looking at the Easter story itself, okay. One of the reasons that I love it so much, there are many, but one of them, is like, women the involvement of women in the Easter story, like, women are the people who found the empty tomb and then, like, went and told everyone and had the first interaction with Jesus after he was resurrected, and it was Mary Magdalene, Jesus' like, best friend, close confidant, and then, Mary, mother of Jesus, which is so crazy. I could talk also forever.
Just
Road
about her.
rage and Mary, mother of Jesus, yeah. The fact that, like, she held Jesus as a little baby in her arms and then, like, saw him be crucified and then saw him resurrected, like, you just can't even wrap your head around that.
My I was thinking about her earlier actually, and my biggest takeaway is that I don't ever remember reading a time when she, like, tried to fight, like, the fate of her child, and,
Mhm.
like, just imagining Kinsey looking at her little baby that was just born and thinking, "Ugh, this baby's gonna have to die for
Yeah.
everyone's sins in the world," and not wanting to, like, scream and fight tooth and nail to make sure that that didn't happen. Just, like, the complete surrender that had to happen in
Yes.
her because she wasn't perfect, she didn't have that divine strength, you know what? She was just
Yeah,
a human like the rest of
she
us.
wasn't fully woman and fully God like Jesus was, like, she was
Yeah,
literally like,
just
sinned just like the rest of us, so it is
yeah,
incredible. I think about that too, and I think, like, a lot of people I've heard people, like, in church discussions talk about, like, why God picked Mary, and I think it had to be, like, maybe even at the time, she was so young, whatever, or however old when, like, Gabriel appeared to her and she had Jesus, whatever, But it's like God knew, I mean, obviously he knew that, like, she had the potential to have that kind of faith and, like, not question it or not fight it or
Yeah.
not, like, try to convince Jesus of something else, you know? So it's really
Yeah.
crazy.
No, it is, and I just, like, could not imagine. I'm not even a mother, but I couldn't imagine being a mother and
Yeah.
just having to stand there on the sidelines. Not only just stand there, be so heavily involved,
Mhm.
like, preparing his body, with the spices and stuff, and then he's not there, and you're like, "Wait, I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah.
So, I don't know, just and watching I think another thing with the Easter story for me is basically with any story in the Bible is it's been referred to as a story because that's what I mean, it's like reading a story. It's oftentimes hard for me to remember that all of it was extremely real. This is not just like some drama or some fantasy that I'm reading, all this actually happened, and the torture he went through, I'm sure words could not even describe. Like, the words on the pages don't even begin to describe what he had to go through. So I think that it's really hard for me sometimes to remember that I'm not reading like a fictional story, I'm
Mhm.
reading someone's actual life.
Yeah.
So that's because I mean, even right then, just reading the seamless version of the Bible or of the Easter story, I was just like, "Oh," like a crown of thorns shoved into your head and, like, beat with whips and your hands nailed into a cross and stuff like, the fact that someone had to endure that. And while they were still going through all of that, thinking of others and asking for forgiveness for others is just something I can never understand. So,
Me neither. Like, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." Like, you can't come up with this stuff. Like, that's,
yeah.
like, first of all, cinematic, which does also make it hard to remember that it truly happened, but it's also, like, the prophecy that was fulfilled with it, like, it's
Mhm.
all so interwoven and, like, perfectly laid out, like,
Yeah.
it's just yeah. I don't have the words actually to, like, describe
No.
the way it makes me feel.
Yeah. And I think that just for speaking on the realms of, like, faith, you really can't begin to process the Easter story and like what it truly means to you until you have like a genuine relationship with Christ, until it like actually resonates with you and, you know, is something that you take personal because it personally affected you. Like what he did was for you. Until you like accept that, it's hard to even begin to process. And like I don't think I'll ever fully process the Easter
No.
story and like Jesus Christ's life in general. But and one of the most, like, stunning parts of the story, I guess, is when the veil was torn and, like, there was no longer a need for Jesus to be, like, the intercessor, like, between you and God, like, he was that, and then the veil was torn, and now you have, like, direct access through prayer to God, and, like, you can speak to one another. It's just, like, insane. Like, it literally just makes you, like, emotional that
It absolutely makes me
there
I'm
was a
doing
love like that,
yes. I know. And it
and very
is,
hard
like,
to process.
so much of the Bible is very confusing to me,
Yeah.
um, about like, especially a lot of the Old Testament stuff, I'm like, "This doesn't seem, like, congruous," which obviously we don't understand. Like, that's so completely, like, literally supernatural, outside of our understanding, so much bigger than, like, human brains can comprehend.
Yes.
Um, and I don't remember where I was going with that. So
So much you don't
oh,
understand.
but the like, yes, that, like, act of love, obviously, like, the greatest act of love of all time, is very hard to wrap your head around. And especially when you consider that, like, Jesus was fully man, like, there's a
Mhm.
poem that I read the other day that was really incredible, and I wanna find it. Um, when I just think of, like, all that Jesus endured um being fully man. Like if you're like, okay, well he's God. Like he knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to come back. Like he knew this was for the greater good, whatever, whatever. But then it's like, okay, but he's also fully man. Like he experiences
Mhm.
our temptations, our like
Mhm.
worldly desires, blah 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 blah. Like our anxieties, everything.
Yeah.
And to still like first of all be as good as he was, completely perfect. And then also to to like go
Yeah.
through with God's plan
And just,
to
like,
save the world.
being fully man and constantly being let down by others. Like, just the constant and legit betrayal from everyone, like his own disciples, the people that followed him, literally sold him for 30 pieces of silver. Like, that's all you're
Yeah.
worth to them after all this time. And just, I mean, knowing that no one, like, truly had your back. And, like, I just think of that as, like, a person, like, to know that I couldn't rely on anyone, and, like, they would give me up for murder. Like, they would rather see me crucified than alive.
Yeah, and
People that
like,
were my closest friends.
the way that I think about those things, just personally, is like I've always thought that Jesus was more upset about those things because, like, they're betraying God, like, his Father. Not because of, like, the personal betrayal, you know? Which again is,
Yeah.
like, so insane that he could keep that who knows how he was feeling, obviously. But, like, to keep that amount of perspective that he did and again, like, it's so much bigger than us, like, there's no way we can understand,
No.
but there to an extent we can because he was man, like,
Yeah.
he was grappling with these things in the same way that, like, we are now, but he's just perfect, so
Yeah. And it really is just like a and I was thinking, how even though there's so much in the Bible that can be really confusing and overwhelming, the 2 stories that matter the most were kind of made the simplest to understand or, like, the simplest to read and kinda
mhm,
get a picture of, and I don't know if it's just because it's the stories we've been told our entire lives, but even when you read the Bible, they're kind of easier, like the birth of Jesus and then the crucifixion. They like, I don't know, I just feel like at the end of the day, having a relationship with Jesus is so we complicate it in our heads so much, and really, it's just very simple. You just have to believe and, like,
yeah,
accept and give your life, and I think that even though, yes, it is very hard to read, we complicate things so because it's hard for us to fathom that something so great can be so simple,
mhm. But I think
but it
that's, like
really is.
that's the story of Jesus, like, he because of
Yeah.
him, it's so simple to us, whereas, like, before we had to make all of these sacrifices and, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
actively do all of these things to, like, get to God, and then
Mhm.
here comes Jesus
Yeah. Who did it
wanting
all for you.
and that's another thing, I was talking a little bit about the women of the Bible before, but I think it's so incredible, Jesus's interactions with women in general, because obviously at the time, women were, like, pretty much and again, I don't know all of the, like, history, but historically, women were, like, only really valued if they had a husband or children, and the fact that, like, women that Jesus had so many interactions Mary Magdalene, for example, the woman at the well, the slave woman, Hagar,
Mhm.
um, with Jesus, and he just completely assigned value to them, like, just that without a thought, without, like, a question of who they were, where they came from, who they were married to, who their children were, like, because they were a person, like, they had value to him, and no matter if they were a Samaritan, if they were, whoever, like, just people,
Mhm.
without any bias, any discrimination toward literally anyone.
Yeah.
It's, like, so inspiring to me, and
Yeah.
so comforting.
Mhm. Also, I I'm so sorry, I totally forgot my dog was under my bed, and she just started moving around, and it really scared me.
She actually did that to me when I was staying at your house. She started moving, and I was like, "This is what it
There's
would
a
sound like if
monster
there's
under my bed.
a murderer." Yeah.
Um, what I was gonna say is, especially, like, during the time of getting married, throughout the Bible, the love of, like, Jesus and God to the church is often compared to, like, a bride and a groom, and I think that it's just such a beautiful analogy, and it's also really encouraging, like, whenever you are getting married and just kind of working through it, to know that, like, the Bible compares the love that you all have for each other and the love that God has for the church. I don't know, it's just very, almost, it's like validating. You're like, "Man, this is very important. This is the most serious thing in my life." Like, it is like how God loves the church and how important the church is to God, and just, I don't know, it's just, there's so many analogies, and, like, Jesus is the representation of all things good. You can find so many encouraging qualities and traits throughout a story. The love, the dedication, like, it's just any motivation you're needing, you can find it in the life of Jesus. It's
I I remember when I was little, the preacher at my church said, I still remember this very vividly. He said, "You can find the solution." It might have been during children's church because this feels like something that he would say to children, but he was like, "You can find the solution to any problem in the Bible. Like it addresses everything in some way." And I was like, "What?" Like, I
mhm.
remember literally thinking, like, "There's literally no way. Like, there's no
Yeah.
possible way that it can address like, that the answer to every problem is in the Bible." But, like, it's kind of a loophole because it's like, okay, these things aren't eternal. That's the answer
Yeah.
to a lot of them, but it is also true.
Very.
So yeah, I yeah, it's important. I think that I don't fully, not that I don't understand how people go through life without faith, but, like, I am grateful that I grew up with it, um,
Yes.
and yeah, that I didn't have to, like, really struggle to find it, or maybe not even find it as an adult. So, yeah, I would say to
Totally.
everyone listening, Christian or non-Christian or, like, uninterested in religion, I think on Easter you should read the Easter story. Doesn't matter which gospel, take your pick. Just because it's like a good story and you can celebrate the day, the holiday, be festive no
Yeah.
matter what you're feeling, you know?
No, I definitely agree, and I've thought about that a lot. It's just, like, not only just religion, but I'm very grateful for every aspect in which I was raised. But especially, I'm very grateful that I was raised with a faithful family, because it is very hard to imagine what life would be like without having a greater being to rely on. But also, I'm grateful that I found my own footing in faith. It would be very hard if I didn't believe it personally. Like, even if my parents were to turn away, I would, it is very personal to me. I've had personal
Mhm.
experiences. So, and even, I'm very grateful, like, at a young age, I did doubt a lot after I got saved. And I'm very grateful for that because it only solidified it even more for me. I feel like if I would have never gone through that, and not saying that people need to doubt after they believe, but I think that it did make me stronger and just, like, made me be like, "No, this is what I believe." Like, it just, I don't know, made it more real for me. Um, and I also think that I'm so glad I was born after the birth and crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I could
Me
not
too.
imagine living in the times before Jesus and just, like, praying and hoping for a savior to come.
And also, this is as you said, I'm gonna be an honest Christian. The God of the Old Testament, and I understand He's never changed, He's always the same. Don't understand that, but I believe it. But the things God did in the Old Testament scare me to death. What do you mean He
Yes.
flooded the
I
earth?
mean, he is a god of wrath, which is also hard to understand sometimes.
Especially as compared to Jesus. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. So it's absolutely confusing and whatever, but, like, we can take peace in the fact that we don't have to understand anything. Oh, not anything.
Exactly.
We don't have to
Nothing.
understand
I'm dumb.
ev everything so long as, we have a relationship with Jesus. So,
Yeah, it
do you
because
wanna
it
hear my
is a
poem?
very yeah, I
Okay.
do.
I might cry. No, I'm not gonna cry. Okay. God met me in the shower, water falling, both from my eyes and from above. I asked him, "Is it okay I feel this way?" And he said, "It is." And I remember so clearly crying out the heaviness. My humanity not at all new to him. I'm gonna cry. I love, like, the fact that I really think Jesus understands, like, our feelings and our yeah, like I said, temptations,
Yeah,
anxieties, whatever.
and one of
So
my favorite things about, like, having a faith is I can recount several times in which I was, like, going through something that I honestly really couldn't put into words, and I still felt heard and, like, known when I was reaching out for help to God. I felt like I didn't even have to really explain myself with words, like, I just had to make myself available, and
mhm,
that was comforting, just being, like, available to be touched by His Spirit and His grace, like, that was all I needed, and that's because like, if I were to sit here with you and just say, "Yeah, I'm going through a hard time," if I don't put it into, like, words and let it be known exactly how I'm feeling, you would never be able to, like, comfort me, but there's been several times in which I was just, like, entirely too burdened down with, like, the weight of the world that I just literally could just sit, and that's really all I could do, and I still felt cared for.
mhm.
So, that's probably one of my most favorite things about having a relationship with God is, like, I
I
don't
agree.
He already knows, he already knows, and that's extremely comforting.
And, like, it is truly I say this a lot, but it is truly, like, peace that passes understanding. And that doesn't mean that I don't feel lots of anxiety and stress and whatever, but
Mhm.
it is at the end of the day, it's like rest. Like, you can
Yeah.
literally go in prayer and, like, it feels literally like rest. Like, I can't
Mhm.
explain it any other way. Like, it's just peaceful, even if you're
Yeah.
maximum stressed, which I think is really cool. I do wanna say I feel like there are a few more things that I wanted to say, but one of them is, I know that a lot of people have been, like, hurt by churches or by, like, Christian people, and first of all, I wanna say that I am grateful that I don't have, like, a large amount of religious trauma. I know many people do, depending on, like, the specific church you grew up in, your
Mhm.
parents, your denomination, whatever. But I do wanna say that, like, that's people, that's not Jesus, if anyone's
Yeah.
listening and is, like, wondering
Mhm.
about our takes on that. I'm gonna say that, yeah, like, your personal relationship with Jesus can be independent of anything that you have, like, been taught or has happened to you in
Yeah.
Christian settings.
And it is really heartbreaking, but I do believe so many people cut God off because of human error,
Mhm.
because humans got in the way with the relationship because we are humans and we fail and we mess up and we try to dictate the way we feel things should be when at the end of the way God is God is on your side. Like, He created you and His intentions are to be with you eternally. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that if anyone has, like, any religious trauma and maybe listens to this, that they would realize that God wants a relationship with you,
Mhm.
and don't cut Him off because of something a human
Yeah.
did,
And
if that makes sense.
on this point, I was listening to actually Sadie Robertson's podcast. I wanted to hear her podcast about Botox and fillers, which was really good. I highly recommend if anyone's wondering, like, or like curious about that kind of stuff and like how it fits in biblically and whatever. I really enjoyed it. But at the beginning of the podcast, they said, like, we're obviously not coming from a place of judgment or condemnation or even like saying it's wrong. Obviously, that this is not an issue that is eternal. This is not like something that the Bible would divide us over. So we as Christians should not divide ourselves over things that the Bible does not divide us over. And I thought that was like a really great take on a lot of the things that
Yeah.
like push people away from church, or that, churches decide to take stands on that. Not that they shouldn't, like, whatever, do your thing, I guess. But yeah, I appreciated that take a lot.
Yeah. I need to listen to that episode
It was really interesting. It
as a
really was.
dealer of those services.
Yeah, and like a Christian. Yeah. I thought it was really cool, honestly. And they were very thoughtful about it. It was her and her mom. Her mom has like had Botox in the past, so it was really interesting.
Yeah.
One
Had
more
Sadie
thing.
had anything done?
No, not Botox. I think she might have had. No, she said her mom had lasers. I don't think she has, actually. And
Oh,
like I
she
don't
does
think she
good.
would lie about it. So, one more thing I wanted to say about Jesus being fully man and fully God. I think that the only, which again, I should probably just study the Bible more to see more moments of this, but the moment that's like the most famous that like you can see Jesus' humanity is like before he goes into whatever, I don't know, he's praying and he says,
He goes into the garden
"Yes.
and he
Yes, when
prays for
Jesus
the cup to pass from him.
yes, if it be your will, let this cup pass from me," or whatever.
Mhm.
That it's like very clear. Like that's proof to me that like Jesus is he
Yeah.
so gets it.
Yeah, I think
Which
that that is the moment I don't know, that it makes it more, like, solidified
yeah, because
because it's almost like I don't know, it's almost like touching the 3rd,
it
like,
is.
wall or whatever you wanna call it,
Yeah.
because you're like, "Wait, I almost forgot," because he has is so perfect, I almost forgot that he also was a human,
Yeah.
and
I know.
he didn't want to go through all that, guys, even
I
though he
know.
did and didn't, you know, complain or anything. I can almost guarantee you he didn't want to be crucified, literally crucified on a cross.
I
So,
know. It's so crazy to me, and I think about that a lot. I remember when I was little being like, "Wait, is that not a sin though to like want to go against God's will?"
yeah,
But like I think that's both of them in that, like the inclusion of that in the Bible is them, God and Jesus. Okay, God, they're the same person. Whatever. That's also confusing, but we don't understand that. Um saying to us like it's okay to be human, but like
yeah,
I think the point is like if it be your will, like
yeah, even though
we can
clearly it's not mine.
we can request and like we can have desires, but like at the end of the day, we have to follow through and die on the cross
Mhm.
if that's what needs to happen. So there's so much
There
more
is so much
about
more, and I'm really
the
glad
Easter
we did
story.
this episode. I'm really glad we did a faith-based episode, A, because I feel like even just talking about your faith makes it stronger
Hmm.
and, like, just, like, reignites, I don't know, like, your passion for it and the importance of you, and it makes you wanna learn more and do better and study more. So, I am glad that
Everyone,
we did this.
me too. I want to hear, genuinely want to hear everyone else's favorite part of the Easter story, or like the detail that sticks out the most to you. I would
Mhm.
love to talk about this with our listeners. So, guys, please drop comments if you're listening now.
Yeah,
Let us know.
and we hope that you enjoyed this type of episode, and if you ever want maybe to hear more, like, maybe we can focus on other stories or something like that. It could be a cool little
I think
thing
it could
more.
be fun to do like once a month episode of like a Bible story, and both of
Yeah.
us study it and then talk about. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, I do too. Because A, it's super important to us personally, and that's only gonna make us more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So,
And it would be like a book club. Like the Bible is so rich from a from a storytelling perspective. Like it would literally be like
mhm.
a book club, but better and shorter
Yeah.
stories.
Score.
It's
Um,
good all around.
yeah, so let us know if you would be interested in anything of that nature. But yeah, we hope that you have a wonderful Good Friday and celebrate accordingly, just taking time to remember what all occurred on this day and just how grateful we are for the ultimate sacrifice. And don't worry, guys, Sunday's only 3 days away.
Sunday's
So,
coming. Heart, heart, heart.
heart, 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 he is risen. Heart, heart, heart.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we will see you all next week, and thank you so much for listening. See you, love ya. Bye.
Bye.